Welcome back to another episode of the Vats Facts podcast. I'm your host, Peltz and Ra, and I know it's been a minute, but I appreciate everybody who's been tapping in. Big thanks to our last guest a couple months ago, Jason Campbell, former NFL first round draft pick. Great guy and doing a lot of great stuff in his retirement. And, make sure you go check that out. Make sure you go check out the new single, Lagoon Valley, by yours truly. I am super excited about our special guest today. I've been following this dude's music for a couple years now. We've connected on Instagram, and I love his message. I love his rhymes. I love his bars. I love how he really just carries himself overall as a human, beyond a rapper, right? And so it's my pleasure, man. He's currently based out of Humboldt County, originally from San Jose. We're going to talk all about his journey. Give it up, man, from my guy, Ra Music, the People, man. Or I'm sorry, Ra Music Heal the People. Did I get the whole acronym there right, man?
Yeah, Ra Music heals the people. Ra MHTP, but that's what the MHTP means.
Yes, sir. Well, Ra, I appreciate you coming on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, last night I performed last night. It was a late performance, so I'm working off a couple hours of sleep, but I'm good. I'm good.
Right on, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and yeah, man, thank you for giving us some space. Man, I find your music very interesting, man. You talk so much about grounding and meditation. I want to start from the beginning though. I know you're currently based out of Humboldt County. Is that correct? You're still up in Humboldt?
I'm still up here. Yeah, still up here.
Okay, right on. Does my video look a little blurry? Your video's coming in blurry. I can hear you fine though.
Yeah, yours looks a little blurry.
Okay, I think it'll fade. I think it'll get out a little bit here. Maybe I'll turn my internet off, see how that works. Maybe that'll be a little better. Okay, I can hear you all right though. Um, all right. So yeah, well, with that being said, man, to kind of tell me a little bit about your upbringing in, San Jose, and kind of how did you kind of discover this beautiful craft we call hip hop?
Woo, it's a long story. Shit, we going back
We
to
got time,
Genesis
man. We
with
got
this one.
time.
Yeah, so born in San Jose, in Santa Clara County Hospital. I got a twin brother, so it was me and him. We were born 10 weeks premature. We were
Wow.
2 pounds, about a foot long. And so, yeah, first couple of months of my life was in the hospital, getting blood transfusions, getting steroid injections in our lungs because our lungs weren't fully developed, being in basically like incubator type shit for months. And then we stayed in San Jose for, I don't really know how long. I don't remember being in San Jose before my return to San Jose, but we
Right.
left San Jose, I want to say between like 1 and 3, and ended up in a town called Cupertino,
Okay.
which is a much more affluent area. Silicon Valley, basically, that's like the heart of Silicon Valley.
Right.
That's
Right.
where whatchamacallit's at. That's where Google's at. That's where Apple's at.
Yep.
And so, got blessed with having a grandfather who was doing really well for himself. Had his own mirroring business and did like construction and stuff like that on $1 million houses, right? So he was doing well. He was able to like make the space for my parents who were 19 and 20 years old
Wow.
to be able to have a house. Well, he gave us one of his houses, and the vision was like put them in a better situation, right? Like my dad's
Right.
from the south side of San Jose, and my mom she moved around, but she lived in Gilroy. So they both
Okay.
were around drugs and gangs and all of that, and they didn't want that for us. But as fate would have it, you know, industries change and economy changes, and we ended up back in San Jose. I think we were like 11 years old when we ended up
Right.
back in San Jose. So yeah, I have like these two different experiences. Basically, living in an affluent, predominantly white and Asian community, and then moving back to San Jose and having more of that cultural context.
Right. Man, well, thank you for kind of diving right into to your origins, man, your story. I'm familiar with Cupertino. I used to have track meets at De Anza College over there in Cupertino back in the day. Um, whatnot. And so so you moved back to SJ at 11 from Cupertino, alluding kind of to those different environments and whatnot. Um, did you how did you what was your first kind of memories of discovering hip hop and getting into hip hop as a fan?
Um, I couldn't even tell you what my first memory was or when I first got into hip hop because I'm a hip hop baby. Like my pops
Right.
was a b boy. He was a graffiti artist. He said he messed around with scratching a little bit, but it wasn't really his forte. He never really rhymed. He said that was his brother's thing.
Right.
And so growing up with him as my father, obviously they were listening to hip hop. Like we were a hip hop and R&B household. So we grew up 80s, 90s hip hop and R&B. So since being in the womb, I've been listening to hip hop and soaking it in to the point where it didn't really feel like something I was introduced to. It just felt like it just felt home in a sense.
Right.
I've always loved hip hop music and R&B. I think I loved R&B a little bit more at first. I think I really got into hip hop on a deeper level and started like discovering hip hop on my own when I was probably like I want to say fourth, fifth grade when I
Wow.
finally got an iPod. And of course, my dad put me on hella game and he put me on stuff that he was listening to. But then I was also able to download my own music. I mean, I'd ask my parents and they would download it for me.
Right.
And I was into the new stuff, like the mainstream modern stuff, but also had that like the classic undercurrent beneath
Mm.
it all. And so I've had an interesting eclectic journey in terms of the hip hop that I was into,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
went through different phases. And so I actually I feel like I have a pretty wide spectrum of hip hop music that I grew up on. I don't listen to a lot of the stuff I used to listen to anymore. Just
Right.
doesn't really resonate with me.
Yeah,
I was I was introduced to a lot of different versions of hip hop.
definitely. Definitely. And so what was some of that stuff that Pops was showing you early on? Can you name a couple artists?
Yeah, it was a lot of like Bay Area music, Celly Cell,
Mm.
Mac Mall, Spice One. Who else was he playing? Like he would just have like mixtapes from people that
Yeah.
he picked up, and so I don't remember all the artists, but it was
So,
stuff that was like close, and
right.
but also a lot of East Coast,
Mm.
a lot of your traditional West Coast hip hop, East Siders,
Mm.
really so many different sounds. I grew up on a lot of different hip hop sounds.
Yeah, for me, man, my sister burned me. a tape, right, or a CD rather, and it had like Outkast, West Side Connection, Ice Cube, Jay-Z, and like then I kind of gravitated more into gangster rap because that was really what was in the forefront. I think you're a couple years older than me. I'm 29. Um, like so at that time when I was growing up, at least in the mainstream, gangster rap was really popular, and there's a lot of the super great pluses, about that, and the artistry and, respect to all those guys. But then later on, I kind of developed more. I discovered Zion I, and I
Yeah.
found out that hip hop was more than gangster rap at the time because I was only used to what the main, or not even gangster rap, just the mainstream, the bling, and Jay-Z and all that, Lil Wayne and stuff like that. And so that's kind of how I developed in my end. What was that like? Who were like some of the artists, because you had your pops showing you music, the mob music stuff, which I'm sure you probably enjoyed. What was like the music? When did you kind of start going your own direction, maybe with like your twin brother and finding the hip hop that was like, oh, okay, this is really like I'm resonating with this?
Hmm. Um, I really resonated a lot with Tupac.
Mm,
Just I felt like I could feel Tupac's spirit and resonate with him a lot. And I would watch his interviews a lot of times. I actually was more
mm,
into I loved his music, but I was more into watching his interviews and just seeing the way that he thought and how bold he was.
right.
And then once I was listening to a lot of Nipsey Hussle in high
Mm,
school.
hmm.
That's when Nipsey Hussle, like, this was before everybody knew Nipsey Hussle too. This is
Right.
like his
Right.
first tapes. Bullets
Yeah.
Ain't Got No Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. And for
Slauson
me,
Boy.
Flossin' Boy, yeah. For me, that was like my evolution into to getting more into conscious hip hop
Mm,
in the sense because there was that familiarity to it because I listened to a lot of gangster rap growing up too,
sure.
and he had that element, but he also had this intellect and this intention that
Right.
really stood out to me and it inspired me, and to see someone like him saying what he was saying and doing what he was doing had a really positive impact on me, especially because a lot of the cats that I was looking up to and I was trying to emulate were gangbangers. So the fact that
Mm,
he had this intellect to him, he reminded me of some of my homies actually who were like that, who they was out there doing their thing, but at the same time they were smart. They were smart. They had a good heart,
right.
and so he felt there was like this familial feeling with Nipsey Hussle, and a lot of the early writings that I did were definitely like molded after his sound because it was around 17 when I started writing, and
Mm,
it was probably around 15, 16 that I started to really get into Nipsey Hussle. And I also listened to Twista. I was listening to Crooked Eye. Crooked Eye was one of my favorites
oh
at the time.
man.
Royce the 5'9",
Oof. Love
uh,
Royce.
the whole Slaughterhouse movement,
Yeah.
and then just Big Crit. Big Crit was also
Oh man.
really found.
Dude, I'm a big Crit fan. His shout out to his old manager, man. They hooked me up with tickets a while back during COVID. I saw him in San Francisco, and the really cool people, man. I'm a huge Big Crit fan, dude. That's awesome. And Royce, but shout out to them, dude.
Are you hearing this racket going on right now?
Yeah, I am. It's all good though, man. It's all good.
So yeah,
Yeah, you're still blurry, but I think it should get better, once we stop the video. So, I mean, if anything, we'll just do audio only. But I mean, I can still hear you. Okay, that's really all that matters. So,
for sure.
you can still hear me good.
I still hear you. Yeah,
Okay, cool. And I'm still blurry.
still a little blurry. Mhm.
Okay, that's all right, man. We'll roll with it. Um, But yeah, man. Well, that's really cool, man. That's a really cool ascension. Your reflection there, Raw, on some of your friends growing up, and how you were kind of making the comparison, with Tupac and whatnot, and in terms of mentality, makes me think of when I was first checking your music out a couple years ago. Your song, shoot, why am I blanking right now, man? Pumpkin Curry, your song
Mhm.
Pumpkin Curry. Um, First off, done really well for you on Spotify, for what that's worth. And, gotten a lot of notoriety there on the streaming. So congrats on that. That's super dope. Yeah, man. Great, great, great song. I've sent that to a lot of friends. But you really reflect, man. If you could take me kind of behind your pen on that track, because you're really reflecting. It sounds like you're reflecting on your upbringing in San Jose during that time, as maybe some of these same homies who you just were discussing about. So what's that track kind of behind, about and whatnot?
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of people that I was like bringing into that track, and there's like two different communities that I have like a soft spot for,
Okay.
and like a protective energy
Mm,
towards, and that is people that have grown up in what you would call the hood, the ghetto, the projects,
right.
etc. Because I've met so many people who had such big hearts, who were surrounded by all that, who were doing the stuff, and I feel like I feel like that's a very misunderstood demographic. Like people don't see the depth and the complexity in people. They just
Oh, oh, no worries. Now you seem clear.
okay, cool, perfect. Well, yeah, there's a lot of depth, there's a lot of complexity in people, and I think people just see what they see on the news reflected all the time. Just turn on the news and then it's just a mugshot of somebody,
Right.
and they see what is this. They don't see the whole story.
Mm,
And then I also feel that way with unhoused people, with houseless people.
mm-hmm.
And I've always had a softness and a tenderness towards houseless people growing up. Although, like my dad, bless his soul, he was always very like stay away from them.
Right.
What? They're people.
Right.
And for some reason, I was always drawn to houseless people. I'd have conversations on the bus or wherever. I wasn't the type of person that would just ignore them. Like I would have a conversation with them. And at the time, I was actually houseless myself when I made that song. I
Okay.
was in a much better position than everybody else because I wasn't in the street. I have been in the street before, but at that
Mm,
time, I was living in a van, and I would do I would get like bundles of bananas sometimes when they're on discount, and I would
mm-hmm.
go out to it's called Plaza in Arcata, and I would
Okay.
just like hand out bananas for breakfast. So that's like
Right.
the whole part of gotta get up out the bed, gotta keep my
Mm,
neighbors fed. Like that was directly assigned to that,
mm,
and I think in a lot of my art, I somewhat am trying to. It's like I'm almost trying to be an ambassador of hip hop.
mm,
And at the time, also, I was feeling like I was an ambassador of the houseless community that I was a part
mm.
of. And being coming up here to Humboldt, that is, it's a predominantly white area
Right.
from San Jose, which was it was very diverse. Where I was at was for sure more Chicano,
Got
but
it.
it was very diverse. We'd have the Usos, the Samoans, we had Filipino, Vietnamese, we had you know different people from parts of Africa, Somalian, etc. And then to come up here when I stepped into a space and when I was sharing my art, I felt like I had to bring the heart and the humanity and the spirit of a people that are not very represented up here.
Right. Right.
And so a lot of that definitely leaked into that song and leaks into a lot of my music, period.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, and that's really cool that you mentioned that, man, because I feel like just as a fan and, admirer of your music, um, I feel like your music's very selfless. Like your lyrical content is very selfless. I don't feel like you do get vulnerable and like you do talk about yourself, of course, because it's your music, but like I feel like you have like a mission statement, right, in your bars. Like you're very, very pro your people, right? Pro people in general, right? Like, just as a white dude, right? Like as a white Jewish dude, you give me a lot of game. You know what I mean? And just like, because I'm not in some of these worlds, right? Other than just being a guest in hip hop, right? And so I think I get a really cool glimpse of like, oh, okay, this is what's going on with his community here, and so shout out to you for doing that, man, because I think that we need that, right, in our music, because music, right, like to me music and sports are the two things, and food, there's three things really that I think unify people regardless of skin color, sexual orientation, religion, right, gender. It's food, sports, and music, right? We can come together over these things, right? And I think we need that now more than ever with everything that's going on in the world, man. And so, kind of backtracking, thank you for sharing all that information, man. I know that's probably maybe not super easy to reflect on sometimes. So I appreciate you being truthful and vulnerable in that. Um, how did you kind of end up going from San Jose to Humboldt? That's quite a long journey. As you mentioned, two extremely different communities. Um, how did that kind of all manifest?
Manifested with a desire to get out of the rat race. I just
Mm,
found myself feeling like a hamster running in a wheel. Like I was always just making enough to get by. And then I will also say like I wasn't very smart with my money because I didn't come from money. And so I probably would do better if I knew how to save and budget and all that stuff. But
mm,
I was check to check living. And I was tired of it. And I just like it just seemed like there was no way out of it. And at the
right.
time I was really getting into spirituality. For me it really started with going vegetarian at 21. That just
Mm.
did a lot for the expansion of my heart, the expansion of my consciousness. And I started
Mm.
just being that weirdo. Like people thought I was a hippie. Now that
Right.
I'm here and I'm in Humboldt, I'm like I don't feel like a hippie.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm a city. There you go. But yeah, I was doing all
Gotcha.
this stuff that I thought was weird, walking around without my shoes on and, without a shirt, just soaking in the sun and
Right.
fasting. And I would fast to get clarity. And one time I did a 3-day water fast. And it had to be the second or the third day. I think it was the second day where my homie had hit me up and he told me about woofing. And I was like, that's it. That is the way. That's my ticket out of here.
Mm.
So me and my twin brother, we were both on the same vibe. We were both minimizing. We had gotten down to sleeping on our yoga mats on the floor and just having like a dresser with some stuff in it and
Right.
not having a bunch of utensils, just bare minimum. Getting down to the point we could live out of a backpack basically. And so the plan was, all right, cool, let's stack up money for a little bit, save up some money. We'll work until then, and then we'll just go off and do some work trade and see where that takes us.
Mm.
And the plan was initially to go to Hawaii, but
Mm.
we found a place we wanted to go to. It was like this fruit farm, and they're growing all organic. different type of fruits, tropical fruits, which I still love tropical fruits.
Right.
But the volcano happened and destroyed the farm, and so
Oh
that was,
no.
and it was pretty last minute too, because we were like talking to them and pretty sure that we were gonna get in there. So
Yeah.
we had to quickly pivot to whoever else responded to us. Here's the thing: if you have never woofed before, if you don't have that on your profile, it's hard to actually get into a place. So the place
Right.
that called us in was a place in San Diego. Not even really San Diego. It's like the outskirts of San Diego.
Okay.
Southeast was the name of the town. And we were skeptical. We were just like, oh, man, like we've been getting rid of all of our stuff. Like we need to follow through with this. And so we decided to go. It was a great experience. I could do a whole ass podcast on that alone, even though it was only 4 months.
Hey, we'll
But
we'll 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 get it, man. We'll
just
do part two.
just to save time, yeah, we were there for about 4 months. Things went a little south with the host, and
Okay.
me and my brother at the time had went back home. We went back to the Bay Area for Thanksgiving, thanks whatever that day,
Right.
and we got the call that they had got kicked out. At the time, who was there was my girlfriend at the time, and then a couple of our homies that we made at this place that we were woofing at. And it was like, damn, what are we gonna do?
Right.
Let's just go on a road trip. Let's just go north. Like we didn't want to lose the freedom that we had attained in that experience. So we were like, let's just drive. Like we'll be all right. We can live out of our backpacks. We're chilling.
Now to
And we
kind of
got
backtrack a little bit, was this like a kind of like a communal living situation
it
out
was
there in
yeah
San
yeah.
Diego? Okay.
Go into depth on that, but yes, it was called the San Diego Spiritual Retreat Center. That
Gotcha.
wasn't in
Okay.
San Diego, but it was close
Right.
enough to say that.
Right.
And they mostly did weddings. That was how they mostly got their revenue. It was a beautiful spot.
Right.
I think it was like 1 or 2 acres, and they had a native plant garden, and they had some fruit trees, and they had multiple buildings that they would host retreats in.
Right.
One of the hosts she was like Reiki. She would do Reiki, and she was like a medium and
Hmm.
very interesting person.
Yeah.
And so they would do retreats here and there, and they would do weddings, and we just helped
Okay.
out the property with the watering of all the plants. We helped out when there was weddings. We helped out when there was retreats. It was a sweet deal, truthfully. Like we didn't do a lot of work. It was maybe 10 to 15 hours of work, truthfully, and that
Yeah.
work was pretty chill. And in exchange, we got room and board. And they would have a fridge just full of stuff, and it was all vegetarian, all vegan stuff.
Mm.
So we were living large. It was great. It was sad when we got that call that things were falling apart. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
man. It was abundance. We experienced a lot of abundance. But yeah,
Right.
that happened. We left. We went north. We were gonna try to make it to Seattle. Car broke down in Arcata, and first thought was because that drive from like Santa Rosa upwards,
Yep.
it was always a little nerve wracking for me, especially
Oh
coming
yeah.
from the Bay Area. And then you're driving further north and you're seeing Confederate flags, and
Yeah.
you ain't seeing no semblance of color at all. And
Nah.
so
Yeah.
our thought when the car broke down was, where are we? Like, as soon as we get this car
Right.
fixed, we got
Right.
to go. And it was night, so we didn't even really know where we were at. And we got out. Somehow we figured out there was this community forest, which was the Redwood Forest. We went to the Redwood Forest, and we're like, oh, wow. this is special. And then we went into town and ran into some people, and there was a really friendly vibe.
Mm.
And also there was a lot of drifters, there was a lot of nomadic people, there was a lot of people who had the same exact story of just driving through and the car breaking down. And the next thing you know, they're there for months. So
Right.
we landed in the perfect place, and we quickly made a lot of friends. We quickly got connected with the community. Really, the thing that kept us was the spoken word community. We got into the spoken word scene, and from there just made so many different connections. I got connected with the organization I work with right now called Black Humboldt
Okay.
through the spoken word community. And my brother met who is now his wife, who he has a baby with.
Oh man,
So
awesome.
I had no idea that this is where we were going to end up. It just was meant to be.
Yeah, man. Well, that's a beautiful story, and it's funny how I feel like, God and just the universe kind of creates pathways for you, right? And at the time, you're not really, at least for me, I've had similar experiences where you're just kind of thinking you're just passing through this place, and then there's kind of a stopping point, and then all these other events kind of happen, and now just from through following you, it seems like, man, you've built a great community up there in Humboldt. You spoke on, working for Black Humboldt, which is awesome. And just, the hip hop community up there as well. I'm curious, like, what was kind of your first, it's interesting you talk, because I live in Sonoma County, right? I'm from Napa. I live in Sonoma County, so Santa Rosa, that's kind of my old stomping grounds. I live more south now. I live in Petaluma. um but I'm always interested in hearing folks who came up in the South Bay, or San Francisco or something like that, East Bay, coming out here. Can you kind of dive deeper into, you were talking about that drive and, seeing Confederate flags and feeling a sense of unease kind of on the drive. Can you kind of dive more into that? I'm interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just foreign to me. I
Yeah.
grew up in a melting pot
Right.
where
Right.
racism sure existed,
Yeah.
but it's different because there was at least a sense of accountability there, because people are like, "Yo, that shit is whack. Racism
Right.
is not cool. It doesn't look cool. They'll do it behind the back." It was a little more
Right.
um, subconscious.
Yeah.
And for it just to to directly feel that energy of just not being welcome, and not having the environment where you can go to somebody who will have your back, or just
Mhm.
like the community in general not down with it. It's a
Right.
very uneasy feeling. And
Right.
that's why we up here we have all these different organizations.
Right.
um, Racism is something that Humboldt likes to sweep under the rug,
Mm.
but it has a very, very dark history with racism, towards
Right.
not just black people, but towards the indigenous people very
Mm.
heavily, and then also towards Asian people. It
Mm.
has a really dark history with all of that up here. But because we've created these communities, we've created these spaces, and we've gotten solidarity between these different communities and different spaces, it feels more safe up here. It
Yeah.
feels like there's people you can go to, and people ain't quite as bold, because there's not this sense that they can 100% get away with it. They're not in a vacuum. But there was some places in the drive where it felt like this is a vacuum. Like the sheriff will take me out to woods type shit. Like I was just,
Yeah, yeah.
that's where my mind was.
Right.
And so I found myself being more paranoid in those areas than when I've been going through the hood. Like I'm like, all right, the hood is like I feel a little on edge, but it
Right.
felt even more isolating, like being out in the middle of nowhere. Like anything could happen to me, and whoever does it will probably get away with it.
Right, right. And what is some so how long have you been up in Humboldt now?
It's been so. Let me do the math because I keep saying the numbers and I don't know if they're accurate.
Right.
So yeah, 2019. Oh, it's been 7 years. Yeah, it's been.
Well,
Yeah, it's been. Wow. I keep telling
almost
people
a
like
decade.
5 or 6. It's been 7 years. It's been a
So
minute.
so
Yeah.
what so can you so you've talked about kind of that underbelly of racism in Humboldt, which unfortunately I think exists everywhere, right? No matter how quote unquote liberal a place may seem, right, or something like that. You're involved with Black Humboldt. What do you think are some what is it, can you kind of tell the audience what is some of the work that you feel that you and some of the groups you work with maybe have done to help I don't want to say end racism because I don't know if that's even doable, you know what I mean? But like how is some of your work um helped kind of maybe bridge the gap a little bit and bring awareness, you know?
With Humboldt, it's there's two different kinds of racism,
Mm,
really everywhere, but especially in Humboldt. There's the like white nationalism pride
right,
version of racism that's really overt and where people are like, that's not Humboldt. That's not we're not like that, right?
right,
There's people like that, for sure. But then
definitely.
there's the other side where there's the lack of exposure, the lack of the lack of correct representation of accurate representation and how that makes people blind to certain things, how it makes people ignorant, how it makes them unaware, and also how it makes them subtly have this sense of superiority and this sense of like I often felt this energy of like black exceptionalism. Like
Okay.
I'm not awesome and amazing at what I'm doing because I'm black. It's in spite of being black is what it often would feel like.
Mm,
And it's like, no, I am because of being black.
right,
Don't
right,
separate that experience. And so I feel like I
right.
often had to highlight that to people like, yeah, I'm at this point in my life where I've pulled a lot of things to the surface and I've
Mm,
learned how to articulate, learn how to communicate, but I'm not an exception at all.
right.
And media is a big part of that, right?
Mm,
Just in the general sense, beyond Humboldt, and there being an intentional effort to undermine people of color. And on top of that, here in Humboldt, there's the lack of exposure. There's just not a lot of black and brown people up here.
right.
So having a lot of these communities that I'm speaking of, um, they put on events and they invite the community in, and there's usually some art of some form that then allows us to share the story, allows us to create the narrative. And I think that is what combats a lot of things, but that is what combats racism
Right.
is shifting of narrative. Because what creates the racism is the narratives. So
Yeah.
being able to have the pen and to have the paintbrush, to have the tool to be able to communicate ourselves is, I think, what's creating more of an awareness within people.
Right. Right. Yeah, man, that's well, I appreciate you sharing that. It's I could imagine too. Just I haven't really spent any time in Humboldt other than going up for like some football games back in the day. I would imagine that like in our places like Arcata and Eureka, the bigger areas, semi-metropolitan areas of the area, I'd imagine that a lot of racism too. I kind of call it like fraternity racism, where it's like you have these white people, right, who like the type of white people who like, on the surface, right, they love Kamala Harris, right? They love Michelle Obama, but like when it comes down to like some really like pro-black stuff, pro-Palestinian stuff, right? It's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, okay, like we're not going to hang the Black Lives Matter flag, but we like to have these bumper stickers on our cars, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'd imagine there's some of that going on up there too.
A lot of performative. Yes, there's a lot of performative, and like it's better than nothing. It's a step towards the direction. Like you have to in becoming something new. There's a performance aspect to it, but
Right,
a lot of people
right,
stop at the performance, and
right,
so yeah, that's what exists up here, at least in Arcata, Eureka. Around us, however, is definitely more of the malicious, the malicious ignorance, like
mm,
the chosen ignorance.
right, right. Yeah, no, I know that when you kind of travel further, kind of closer to the Oregon border, and not all people up there, of course, there's good people everywhere, but I know that once you kind of get into, Siskiyou and, Alturas and all these kind of areas up there, it's like, oh man, like I really hope my car doesn't break down up here. You know what I mean? Like there's some weird stuff
Mm-hmm.
going on. Like some spooky stuff, Um, I want to kind of I appreciate all that insight, man. Because I always look at like, I'm from Napa, make Sonoma County my home, and I always kind of look at Humboldt as our cousins up to the north, you know what I mean? Same area code, still 707, you know, but I'm curious, how has being in Humboldt, you talk a lot about like about nature in your art, and it's just very apparent by following and listening to your music that nature is a big role in your life. How has like the landscapes of Humboldt inspired your art, if at all?
Well, there's multiple dimensions to that question. Just in the sense of my nervous system. My nervous system has healed a lot being up here from being in an environment, in a city environment where there's always cars, there's always sirens, there's loud bangs happening that you don't know if it's fireworks or somebody got shot.
Right.
There's that tension sometimes that you feel in the neighborhood that something's gonna pop off. Always looking over my shoulder, like that. It took me a while to turn that off, but there was a point where I realized that, oh wow, I feel so much more at ease in the environment. Has a big part to do with it. Seeing green, seeing the natural colors, the fresh air, the the redwoods are very inspiring. Just looking at those trees and the sounds of the birds, being by the bay, like all of that definitely lends to just being in a better place, being in a more centered place, not being so much in that survival mode. And because of that, the creativity has definitely been enhanced. The flow has increased. Not that being in survival mode ever completely stifled that for me, because that was, I made it through the survival mode. That's how I made it through that
Right.
energy
Right.
a lot. But yeah, just having more of this sustained sense of peace and groundedness
Mm.
has definitely increased my flow and my creativity, but also made its way into my creativity. I talk about trees and grass and ocean and water. It's very
Hell
like
yeah.
elemental because that's just what I'm surrounded by. And a lot of the conversations that I have are grounded in that. Spending time in ceremony with different peoples,
Mm,
different relatives,
right.
just like deepening my understanding, deepening my connection to the natural world. And that's been something that's been with me for my whole life. Really, I've always been really connected to nature, but it
Right.
has certainly enhanced being up here.
Yeah, you can hear it in the music, man. Like your flow is very relaxed, but also like when you need it, when you choose to, I don't want to say elevate, but like when you choose to kind of go with a more aggressive flow, you turn it on, but like a lot of the songs, especially the ones I've gravitated to of yours, are very relaxed. You can tell that you're in a very peaceful place. And it makes sense, man. I mean, you hear about, right, like Kanye, right? Like he'll post up in Utah and go record or wherever, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot to that, man, because I mean, no disrespect to, LA or San Francisco or any of these places, but I mean, to me, like when I'm writing or recording, I need quiet. I need like solitude, and I think Humboldt is an incredible place probably to do that. One song
Definitely.
here is, hold on, let me get, my cat is like scratching up a bunch here. Like, sorry, man, we've been getting all the obstacles this pod.
All
Um,
good. It's like
right. It is life. But we're here. So, one song too of yours that really resonates with me is Almost There. I feel like I've had to really, balance my creative output with being a husband and a dad, right? And put it on the back burner. Not necessarily in a bad way, but in a good way, because I got these babies to take care of, and sometimes it takes a little longer. I feel like, you being an independent artist, the sense I get from that song, I don't know if you're talking about your own goal, but I think it's something a lot of people can relate to, right? Because you say, pick up the ball more often if you're a baller, pick up the pen. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. Pick up the pen if you're a writer, pick up the phone and call your mama. Like, who are you speaking about yourself there? Are you speaking to someone? What does almost there
speaking. I
mean to
was
you?
speaking. Most of my music is. I mean, it's. I'm speaking to multiple people at all times. I'm speaking
Mm,
to. I'm a very like not surface level person at all.
right, right. I get
I like
that
step
from your
into a
music.
space and like I'm like, oh, this isn't just me. This is my ancestors coming into this room with me. This is my pops. This is my brother. This is so when I'm speaking in my music, I'm speaking to myself because I know I'm gonna listen to this song. I'm speaking to the people I know who are gonna listen to the song. I'm speaking to the people who are listening within me to the music, and like speaking to my future self. I'm speaking to my younger self, and there was definitely several things going on with the pick up the ball more often if you a baller. I'm not a baller, but I
Right,
was going out and shooting hoop because it was just good for cardio and good for flow. Because
right,
there's
right.
something about hitting that switch, it releases the dopamine, it puts you in the pocket. So I was trying to do that more often.
It's
Speaking on that, I
meditative, man.
want to do it more
It's
often
meditative.
now. And then pick up the pen more often if you're an author is, I mean, when I first started writing, I caught the bug. I'd
Mm,
been writing in my head far back as I can remember. There's not a moment I don't remember making music in my head. I
mm,
still to this day I could do this. I haven't done it in a while. I did it the other day just to see if I could. But what I would do is I would play the beat in my head. I would remember beats from songs that my parents would play, and I would make up music.
right.
I thought it was a completely normal thing that every human being did until I was 17, and I was telling somebody about it. I don't remember who, and they're like, "No, that's not. I don't do that. That's not normal." I was like, "Huh? Let me." And once I started writing and I got some down that I liked, I was hooked. I wrote every single day for at least a year and some change.
Mm,
And so that line was just saying, like, it's something that you love and something that you enjoy and something you want to get better at. Do it every day, even if it's just
right.
a couple minutes. Do it every day. And then on top of that, the line of pick up the phone more often to call your mama was like, well, also don't forget the people around you, because that's a tendency that I've had for sure. Get so caught up in my own world that I forget to call my mom. And
Mm,
I should probably call my mom soon, anyways. Now that we're having this
no doubt.
conversation,
Right.
but yeah, just that's just also just a recognition of the importance of relationships and the importance of people in our life and the role that
Mm,
we have in their life and the role that they have in ours.
mm. That's beautiful, man. I'm becoming more of a fan just talking to you, man. I can't wait to hopefully get a record together too at some point, man, because
Oh
it's
yeah,
inspiring,
absolutely.
man. Um, and so I want to kind of bring it now to the present. You got this new project out called Branches. It's yourself, that fool out, and Cali Los Miklo. Really, really dope project, man. I had a chance to listen to it a couple times. Oh, there we go. Go get that. I love it. I love it. How did that project come together, man, with those guys?
So again, kind of one of those things of just things that are meant to happen.
Right.
So I moved up here obviously 6 years ago, and I want to say it was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago when Al had came up, and
Mm,
he's also from San Jose, and we
right.
had ran to each other a couple times in San Ho doing like open mics and shit.
Mm,
Never really like got in depth conversations, but there was always this vibe. It's like that's,
mm.
and it wasn't just because we both have the long curly hair. Like there was just there was a
Right.
resonance there. There was a relativity
Right.
there,
Right.
and I left before really establishing any connections. It's funny now because I left San Jose, but like man, I got no people out here, and pretty soon after I left, I realized oh, there's actually a lot of dope ass people that I could have been kicking it with. But
Right.
anyways,
Right.
it was about 3 4 years ago. One of my friends she puts together this show called Only Skin Deep, and he was coming up, and I was like, hey, like I think I can get you on a show since you're coming up, and so I helped make that happen. He performed
Mm,
up here. And then also another time we would do this spoken word reading in a dispensary once a
okay.
month. And he was up and then also pulled him into that. So we just had those two situations where we touched the same stage. We had talked about doing music, but you know how it be with artists. We're running around, we're doing a million things. It's hard to make it happen if you're not like in the same place. And so
Man,
finally,
I'd have a whole album, man, with all those people I've talked about making music with. You know, it's just it's how it goes.
yeah. And so then finally we got to spend some solid time with each other, and it was Cali Los Mikyo. He was putting together a show out in Cupa, and it
Mm,
was for missing and murdered indigenous people awareness, and for also
mm,
just the like the fentanyl crisis.
right.
Just trying to
Right.
do something do something positive out in the res. And
Right.
so he invited me to perform at that, which was super dope, and I was really honored to be asked to do that because I had just got put onto his music, and there's like this energy that reminds me of Nipsey Hussle
Mm,
with his flow and just like his community, like the way he reaches out to the community and what he does for the community.
right.
And so I wanted, as soon as I heard him, I was like, damn, I gotta collab with this guy. So he invited us to that show, which was on his family farm,
Oh wow.
and it was a real special event. Like it wasn't just your normal hip hop show. It was like family. I got to meet a lot
Right.
of his family.
Mm,
and his family hella dope. They come out to our shows a lot. They're
mm,
very supportive. And Al was also there. So all the three of us were just kicking it, riffing, talking about collaborating. And then finally Al moved up here and he got his own spot. And at his own spot, he was able to set up a studio. He
mm.
lives like right down the street from me, which
Oh,
is
perfect.
which is dope. And Los now lives pretty close too. But yeah, we just went in for a session one day, and we created our first song on the project, which ended up being the final song for the project.
Right.
And we at first we were just like, let's just do a couple songs, and we'll see where that goes. And then it quickly turned into, all right, let's do an album. And I don't remember the whole story of how Branches came along. I mean, there was a lot of imagery. There's a lot of like earthly imagery in this album. All three of
Definitely.
us really be doing that in our own lane. And yeah, the project was made over the span of about a year and some change. And it's been beautiful the way it's been rolling out.
Mm,
We're working on Branches number 2,
mm.
and gonna see where it takes us, because that's really what it came from. It just came from, let's get in the studio, let's see what happens. We've been making some really dope shit, like what we got for Branches 2, and what might go further beyond that is really dope. Just seeing the way that it's evolving, seeing the way that we're evolving
Right.
artistically and just mentally,
Right.
physically, spiritually. So it's a
Yeah.
really dope. It's a dope album that came out of a growing brotherhood that's continuing to grow. And I hope over the years we do several different volumes of Branches.
I can't wait to hear it, man. I mean, the energy on there is apparent, you know. Al's really hyped up. You're laid back, you know, doing your thing, and then I feel like Cali is a little kind of in between both of you guys, you know what I mean? And it just works. And how is it for you, like, because you've done a lot of solo work, obviously, going from doing solo writing and recording to being with two other MCs? How has that, is your mind state different when you're writing and recording with two other dudes, or how does that work for you?
It's a little bit different, a little bit, just like realizing that I'm gonna be on with somebody.
Yeah,
But the process is pretty much still the same. It's just I might be more like, all right, what's the theme? Like, let me hear your verse, or we just come up with
right,
a chorus. It's more dependent upon the other person in the space and the beat and
right,
just whatever's going on with me in the present moment, versus my own solo
right.
process. Whatever's going on with me in the present moment and what I'm hearing in the beat. So it's just
Mm,
like another element, which I really enjoy, because I take inspiration from everything.
mm,
And the more like channels of inspiration I have coming to me, the more unique my creation is going to be, because it's drawing from all these different sources. And it has been a thing. I don't think there's been any times where we were like, this verse doesn't work. We all like write our own separate verse and come back, and somehow it all is cohesive. And I've
mm.
experienced this with everybody that I've collaborated with.
Right,
When
right.
I first started
Yeah.
music, it was collaboration. It was me and my brother, me and my twin,
Mm,
and
yeah.
then the homies that had the studio down the street. So
Right.
it's always been a collaborative effort, whether it's with other people, it's like with my experience with the beat. So it's not too outside of the ordinary for me. It's just different.
Yeah. No, man, that's dope, man. And I've been in a group and then, you know, transitioned to solo, and groups are fun, man. When they work, they're fun. You know, when they don't work, you know, that's not fun. But when they work, it's amazing, man, because I feel like sometimes too as artists, at least for me, like I can get in my head about stuff, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, I don't like how this sounds, but that's cool. But you guys have that admiration of one another where it's like, nah, actually that is dope, bro. Like that is a sick bar. That is a dope verse. Because I feel like as artists, we need that. We need somebody, especially in the social media age, right? Where everything's driven by algorithm and how many likes you get. And really none of that shit really matters. It's can you connect with the listener? Can you connect with the fellow MC, right? That's what matters, man. And I can now I'm thinking about it in my mind, it's like, oh shit, branches. You guys are branching together.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's right.
which, and speaking of your bro, man, you guys got a dope song on Spotify. I'm gonna just be honest, man. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it because I'm gonna sound like a super
It's
super white.
my
Go ahead.
my Tawi.
Okay, got it. And then, man, and what is your brother's artist name?
His artist name is Bami Dele.
Okay, yeah, man, it's a dope track. Your brother, man, you guys got similar voices too. I mean, I feel like his is a little
Hmm.
lighter than yours, at least on that track. Um, is he still rhyming? Or you guys like, how did that song come
So
together? Talk about
he,
your guys' musical relationship.
yeah, it's been it's been a journey. It's been quite the journey.
Yeah,
So right now, I'll just fast forward. We'll start from the present.
yeah,
He's a father, and he's a husband.
yep.
Got my 9-month-year-old nephew, who
Mm.
I adore, and I'm so grateful exists on this planet, little angel. And so that's
Congratulations, man.
where his thank you. That's where his focus is. He's still been writing.
Yeah.
He's still a phenomenal lyricist, and over the years he hasn't put out a lot, but he's written things and he's created things, and it's always impressed me. He's probably my favorite MC for sure. Um,
Awesome.
but yeah, I sent him something the other day that I want him to get on, and I'm gonna do a project with my brother ASAP as soon as that can
Oh
happen.
yeah.
And
Oh
also,
yeah.
I just want to give him the space to record and create his own project too, because he's a really special individual, and
Yeah.
he's a big part of why I am the way I am. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be the person that people look up to and admire if it wasn't for my brother and our relationship.
Mhm.
So yeah, we
Yeah.
started with making music together. I started writing first, and he was like messing around on beats, and
Right.
then we kind of crossed. Oh, let me mess with beats a little bit, and then he started writing. I
Right.
didn't stick with the beats; it wasn't working for me. I made some okay beats, but
Yeah.
he really he developed really quickly, and but he was also going through a lot. He was going through depression and anxiety,
Mm.
which I also was experiencing,
Right.
but not quite to the same depth. And then physical illnesses as well, irritable
Mm.
bowel syndrome, and
Oh man.
all the things that accompany that. Which I also again I was afflicted with, but not to the same severity. I'm not
Right.
really sure what made differences because like we grew up in the same household, we ate the same food,
Right.
um, but he was suffering more,
I'm
and
sorry to
so
hear
it
that, man.
kind of came to a point where he needed to take a step back from the music,
Yeah.
and it also that's when my music kind of started to evolve, and I started to go on more of my solo journey.
Right.
But in the beginning, we were like struggle rappers, just talking
Mhm.
about eating top ramen on and
Right.
just kind of how life was fucked up and the odds weren't in our favor. And it was real, it was raw, it was a way to get that stuff off and communicate it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily contributing to our wellness. And he was
Right.
really aware of that. He was aware of the impact it was having to constantly be in that space. And that's why he kind of took a step back. And in his awareness of that, I also became aware of that and started to change the tone of my music,
Yeah.
and it started to become, whereas like every song was like almost a sad story without a happy ending, I was like, nah, this song needs to like come to a resolution. And that really evolved not just my writing journey, but that evolved my life journey. My I don't separate my music journey, my writing journey with my health journey or my spiritual journey. They're all the same thing. And I think
Right.
my initial medicine, my initial enlightenment, walk towards enlightenment, was through writing, a hundred
Mm.
percent. So
Yeah.
yeah, he took a break for a while, and here and there he makes songs, but I really want to hear more of his music and more of what he has to say, because he has a lot of rich knowledge and a lot of experience, and he's worn many different hats. He's just occupied many different spaces, and
Right.
when he does things, he does them very fully. Like he went
Mm.
fully into Christianity for a little bit,
Right.
kind of went so full into it that he like didn't things weren't working for him. Then he went into Buddhism and he went really
Right.
full into that. So like he had so many different textures of thought.
Well, hey man, sometimes it's like I'm a huge like Kendrick's my favorite rapper ever, and like I feel like he had that long gap, between Damn and Mr. Morale. There's a 5 year gap, and nowadays it's like it's not, at least when you go on Instagram, it's like, no, you gotta drop every second. But having that space between joints, and just allowing yourself to live life and gain more stuff to write about, I can't wait to hear what you guys are gonna put out. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like you guys got a lot to catch up on, at least, in the studio and in music, right? Real quick, I got one more question kind of before we let you go, man. I appreciate you, making the time. um we talked about, you kind of alluded to it in the beginning, man, but every guest I have, since we're a Bay Area, based show, I love to hear, and you can do both or either just one or the other, depending on your interest. But I love to hear your top five favorite Bay Area rappers and then your top five Bay Area athletes. You can do both or you can do one or the other.
Ooh,
Up to you.
okay. We'll do both.
Okay.
Okay, so for rappers, I'm gonna have to say E40. E40 was definitely one of my favorite rappers growing up. Also one of my dad's favorite rappers. So I grew up on not just Tell Me When to Go, but you know, the Bumble and like his first projects.
Oh,
I
hell
grew
yeah.
up on E40.
Oh, yeah.
And in the same vein, I'm gonna have to say um, Mac Mall. Mac Mall.
Mm.
Grew up on Mac Mall. Uh,
Macklemore, I feel like it's
ooh.
kind of slept
Oh,
on.
I'm gonna have to say Spice One as well. We're going all old school right now. Spice One.
187 proof.
Yes. Yeah, no, that yeah, those songs, a lot of Spice One songs were
Great storytelling.
just really, really deep for me and
Yeah.
connected to him on a really deep level.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll throw, just in terms of impact, like I'm gonna have to say Mac Dre. Of
Mm.
course, I'm gonna have to say Mac Dre
No doubt.
in terms of the
No
impact
doubt.
and like getting Bay out there.
Yeah.
And
Rest in peace.
all right, I got two more to give. So I'm gonna
Okay.
give La Russell for show in the
Definitely.
top five of the Bay Area just because of his impact. And I've had the honor of seeing him perform live in person. One of the most
Mm.
powerful performances I've ever seen. Period. Just the way he connects with the community. I mean, it makes sense. He was doing concerts out his backyard. He has that energy where it's like, man, I'm at the reunion with the family. That's what it feels like. It's special. It's like church almost.
Right.
And then we'll say, in terms of like producers, I mean, I'm gonna have to say Trax a Million, coming from San Jose. Rest in peace,
Oh
Trax.
man.
He made some of the biggest sounds in the Bay, like the Jacka and
Oh yeah.
um, San. That they all kind of blew up on beats from Trax a Million, who's from the south side of San Jose, Seven Trees, like the same neighborhood that my
Oh wow.
pops was from. So
Oh
I
wow.
have to definitely put Trax a Million in there.
And how about Mr. Fab the Sideshow? I mean that song really blew up Mr.
Mr.
Fab,
Fab.
you know?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Fab.
Like,
It's a lot.
yeah.
That's not, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn, sorry, but
It's a lot.
we'll go
It's a
with those
lot.
ones. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
And then in terms of athletes, like I've always been a very athletic person. I've always
Right.
been involved in sports, especially like I'm saying wrestling, but I did track and field, I did football, I did soccer, I did baseball. I did a lot of different sports, but I didn't watch a whole lot of sports.
Right.
When I was a kid, if it was on, it was on, but I didn't really care. I was just running around with all the other little kids.
What
And
real quick,
although I do like,
what position did you play in football?
I was a running back.
Hell yeah.
I tried to do wide receiver a couple times. I didn't really
That's
stick
what's
with
up.
that, but running back and this was just like Pop Warner football though.
That's fire.
But yeah, I mean Steph Curry for sure. Steph Curry is phenomenal. I like just watching his highlights and
Yeah.
it's inspiring to see what he does. I watched one the other day where he did like 5 full court shots back to back, and I was
Right.
like, what?
Yeah.
What? Like that was one thing I used to love to do at my papa's house. Is like me and my twin would just do trick shots.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love watching people just hit those shots. And then I'm gonna have to say Willie Mays.
Mm.
Willie Mays for sure. I had the honor of, because my papa used to do construction and do mirrors around the Bay Area. He did a lot of mirroring work for Willie Mays, and I
No
got to
shit.
play baseball in his backyard with an
Oh,
orange,
what?
just
Oh, wow.
back and forth. And he had signed balls for us. He had signed hats. I don't know where they're at. I hope they're somewhere, but
Oh my
yeah,
God.
um, it
Oh,
was dope to get to like actually time with them.
you, you need to rap about that, man. That's crazy. That's dope.
But yeah, that's about as far as I can go with athletes, just because of not really having that much of a depth of sports knowledge in terms of like the game, the big time game.
Right, right. Well, hey, that's a hell of a two right there, man. Steph and Willie. And before we, end it, man, what's coming next for you? How can people find you? I know you're big on Patreon, your socials. How can the audience find you?
Yeah, so there's a lot coming,
Hell
and
yeah.
it's making me realize that I need to. I have a domain name for a website, and it's time to sit down and actually just at least get a landing page together. So I don't know when you plan on putting this out, but I'm gonna try to get the website at least up to where it's like a landing page you can get on, and
Hell yeah.
an email capture or a newsletter.
Right.
And the name of the site is going to be it's going to be risewithraw.world. That's
I
that's the
love it.
website domain, which is also my Instagram. And my YouTube is Rise with Raw, and I'm gonna be trying to pump out as much music as possible. I'm sitting on easily 100 something songs that I
Wow.
haven't put out. Like I've been writing a lot, I've been creating a lot, I've been performing a lot, several
Yeah.
times a month at least, writing several songs, sometimes a week, but for sure several songs a month.
Right.
But actually putting it out, I haven't done very much of that. So I got a lot of things on the backlog I want to put out, as well as some newer songs that I'm working on. And I've been crafting a really eclectic sound. So I have my more kind of hip hop style, but I'm also getting a lot more into singing, getting more into making
Mm,
soulful music, and
hell yeah.
just I'm gonna be pumping out all of that music. Also, got plans to make some content. I'm gonna have my own kitchen at this place that I'm moving into
Hell yeah.
in a couple of
Hell
weeks.
yeah.
And so I want a little like Ra's Kitchen channel, just talking
Awesome.
about food and nutrition, but also showing people recipes, more breathwork content, some content for artists too, for artistic support, just in terms of
Mm,
creativity, but also sharing the things that I'm learning when it comes to performance, when it comes to your voice, when it comes to breath. Like I'm trying to find a way to kind of bridge breath work and
mm,
bridge singing and rapping,
right.
because I've been noticing that that's the most powerful way for me to practice. Like I do the
Right.
sit down breath work, but I've been finding actually the more healing thing for me to do is go to the park and freaking
Mm,
just tone and sing and rap at the top of my lungs with my shoes off,
right.
grounded in the
Right.
earth. So find a way to bridge all those things in a cohesive way, along with the plant based raw vegan foods and fasting. And so yeah, I got ideas for different series that I want to introduce on my Instagram and on my YouTube and on my website soon.
Oh yeah. Well, hey man, Ra, we appreciate your time, my man. Definitely want to do a part two at some point. Definitely get, some music going. And make sure you guys, I'm gonna put all his stuff in the description, all his links. Make sure you show him some love. Go show the new project Branches some love. And if you're enjoying this content, man, even if you're not, make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, and hit up Ra's YouTube channel as well. We'll link that in here, man. But Ra, stay on real quick. But we're gonna end the recording right here. Peace, man.
Peace be upon y'all.